And finally, new rule. You gotta give me more than a week to get used to a new word or phrase or name for what we call something. We did this with homeless until it was unhoused. We did this with illegal alien until it was undocumented migrant. We did this with midget until it was, how dare you, we say little people now. And now we're doing it with prostitute. I don't know if you saw the Academy Awards this year, but I'm just gonna say it. Whores are having a moment.
I also just want to again recognize and honor the sex worker community.
I want to thank the sex worker community.
Wow, 3 weeks ago it was a bunch of hoes, and now it's a community. And look, I'm all for it. Just maybe give me an alert on my phone or something when we're making the upgrade. Because it's kind of funny how it's only been a few weeks and I already know people who, if you use the word prostitute, oh, they will glare at you like you forgot a reusable bag at Whole Foods. But my question is, if it's such an important liberal cause, why didn't you do it 10 years ago, or 20, or in 1975? Maybe I should be copying an attitude with you. Because, no, I remember in the 90s on my old show, Politically Incorrect. Oh, thank you. Oh, nicely remember. No, I remember speaking in support of the idea that prostitution should be legalized, and it was considered very politically incorrect. It was certainly not the liberal point of view back then. It was the libertarian point of view. But, you know, in America, if you don't like the position of any particular political faction, just wait, they'll switch it up. A few years ago, the New York Post ran a story about a paramedic who couldn't make ends meet and so started an OnlyFans to pay her bills, and then got publicly shamed for it. And Congressman Ocasio-Cortez tweeted in her defense, "Sex work is work." Well, first of all, sex shouldn't be work at all. You wives know what I'm talking about. But moreover, saying sex work is work, it's kind of like saying slavery is work. Yes, strictly speaking, but is that really the message we want to be sending? A few weeks ago, I did a new rule here where I mentioned all the actresses, 21 in all, who have been nominated for an Oscar, and many of whom have won, for playing a sex worker. And tonight, I'd like to apologize to the other 20 who were nominated, who I didn't even have time to put on the list. Really, I swear to God, there's 20 more hooker portrayers who were nominated, and some other big star hooker portrayers who didn't even get a nomination. Please, wouldn't you take a moment to honor them all? Oscar, they should call it the John. Which leads us to this question: why? Why so many hookers? You know, myths and dreams, but also movies, tell us what's really going on in our minds. Why this? If half of all male stars in Hollywood had at one point played a, I don't know, a porch pirate or a used car salesman or a three-card money dealer or a lobbyist, you know, something really sketchy, would we not wonder about that? What does it mean? Does it mean that we're still locked into the Madonna-whore complex? It would seem so, since there's 1,000 movies about whores and Madonna has never made a good one. Now, Honora is a good one. It's a great movie. So is Sean Baker's other movie about a sex worker, Tangerine, and his other movie about a sex worker, Red Rocket, and his other movie about a sex worker, Starlet, and his other movie about a sex worker, The Florida Project. Look, I think Sean is a huge talent, but he does think about whores a lot. And honestly, I think whore was a better term, and here's why. You can get so caught up in the virtue signaling that you actually do harm to the cause, and using sex worker makes it sound too benign, like it's a temp job at a call center being done by a woman in a cubicle with a cactus on her desk. But it's not that, and it's not usually the woman's choice to do it. The language may have changed, but the job hasn't. There's a real piece of garbage out there these days named Andrew Tate, and he's the other guy in the news connected to sex workers. Except here's the little difference. He's for exploiting them, and he brags about pimping out, beating, and trafficking and tricking vulnerable women. And while there are Republicans who have come out and said that embracing this piece of shit is a bridge too far, most have not. And that's all you need to know about the politics of today. The left, still too often unserious and performative and counterproductive, but the right, scary and dangerous and untethered to basic morals. I get it, the Democrats are pussies, you don't want to be that, but all the way to Andrew Tate, are you fucking insane? In The Florida Project, an impoverished young mother living in a cheap motel puts her little kid in the bathroom while she has sex for money with some rando on the bed. But you feel for her. You understand why life leaves some people with only terrible choices. You don't enjoy her exploitation like Mr. Tate would. And that's why people love that movie. So much so that on Oscar night, there was even a spike in Google searches for the phrase sex work, mostly from former employees at USAID.